All right, everybody. So this is day 2 of leg days. So this is a predominantly hamstring and glute day. And we're just gonna hammer out hamstrings. So starting out, for me personally, I really like a seated. I find I get more contraction on it. But there is a variation I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do 10 reps toes together, 10 reps toes normal, and 10 rep toes out. That's one set, so 30 reps per set. Again, you're gonna do a medium weight, not heavy. The big thing is when you're doing it, once you get into this, like setting up is a lot like the hamstring. You're lining up your knees with the pivot point here, and that's where your seat's gonna go. For the pad, it's gonna go right pretty much on your Achilles, so you can kind of wrap your heel around it, not halfway up your calf. It's gonna be down there. And then this just kind of locks you in. So a lot of people's biggest mistake is when they do this, they press against this and they almost try to lean back to make it almost like a lying hamstring, but they're trying to engage their glutes to make it easy. So what I do to like alleviate that or navigate away from that is once you get into it, use these handles and kind of pull yourself up. So you're starting in a stretch of your hamstring. So now put your toes together, again, controlling the weight. So we're gonna do 10 this way. And then once you get to 10, all you do is when you come up, shift your toes to normal, point them away. And again, you're gonna do 10 this way. And once you get to 10 here, you're gonna come up, stop, shift your toes out. Hamstring is a little bit different than the quad. With the hamstring, there is 3 major parts to it, but when you angle your feet, it does activate a different part of your hamstring. So when your toes are together, you're activating more like in between your legs, like almost your abductors, but that hamstring kind of in the medial part. And then once you go to normal, it's straight down the middle. So this is the predominantly strong area of most people's hamstrings. And then once you go out, it's the outer part, right up into the glute tie-in. And you'll feel it. Like when you do navigate your toes, you'll feel the change. Like once you start to do a couple reps, you'll feel where it's flexing. So you're gonna do 2 feeder sets of just normal 20 reps. Then you do 4 sets of the 10-10-10. And that's gonna get you kind of all warmed up for the continuation of this hamstring day. So let's move on and see what's coming up. All right, so we're gonna move right into stiff leg deadlifts. So I like using kind of like this pendulum machine here. It's great for me to get into that full stretch at the bottom. You can use dumbbells, barbell. I find a lot of people are in that pronated grip. And as soon as you get into that pronated grip, you start to round your shoulders a bit more. And that's where people start to kind of cascade down into injuries and stuff like that. So at least with this style machine, you're in a neutral grip. So you can keep that chest up and shoulders back and keep that kind of straightened spine throughout the whole movement. So you're not worrying about injuries and stuff like that. You're just going for the feel of what an RDL should feel like. So what I do is I go hip width apart, grabbing this. All right, so for like a regular deadlift, you're gonna bend at the knee, but for a stiff leg deadlift, you don't bend at the knee. You're not quite locked out. You're just a little bit at like full extension, just like you'd be in a squat. And all you're doing is you're pushing your bum back, keeping your back nice and straight. You're coming down until you feel that stretch, and then you're coming up. And when I say come up, I don't mean this. So this is everyone's biggest mistake in an RDL. They come up into this whole flex the glutes and pop their chest and like round their spine this way. Regardless of what you're doing, you're still putting stress on your spine. So stay in the tension. So here, everything's nice and straight. Come up to here. So right now, the tension is starting to come off my hamstring. So this is where I'm stopping. All the way down again, up. All the way down, up. So this is gonna be old school, heavy RDLs. Stiff leg deadlifts. You're just gonna go 8 to 10 reps. So you're gonna do 4 sets of this and go as heavy as you can without breaking form. So start with your first set, start with a weight that feels good at 10 reps, and then just start increasing. So you get to that 4th and final set, and hammer out 8 hard reps, ensuring you keep that straight spine, stay in the tension spot, and you're just going for that full stretch when you pop those hips back. And that would be your stiff leg deadlifts. We're gonna move on from there. All right, so now we're gonna move on to lying hamstring curls. This is gonna be kind of like a tempo thing that we're gonna do today. So getting into here, what you want is you want the pad down here, as far down here as you can. You don't want it way up on your calf. You want it down here, so it's putting the most tension on your hamstring. I like holding up here and popping my chest up instead of laying flat, because everyone's biggest mistake is, they start to raise their bum halfway through. So when they're pulling this up, they raise their bum, and it kind of deactivates the hamstring because you're throwing your hips up to make it easy. So what I do is I put my hands here, kind of upgrade my chest a bit, pushing my hips into the bench when I bring my heels up. So once I start to pull heels, hips come in. So, and this is the tempo we're gonna do. So explode up, hold flex, nice and slow, negative on the way down. Hold that stretch, pop, slow on the way down, pop. And so if I was gonna do this in a way where it's gonna deactivate, and most people what they do is they do this, their hips come up. And that is not conducive to flexing your hamstring, because it's basically deactivating everything. So you're gonna do 4 sets of this, 10, 12. Try to go as heavy as you can and keep that tempo. So slow in the negative. You're gonna hold that flex for a pause, and then hold that stretch for a pause. So you want full range of motion. Once you get to the end, the last set, you're gonna be pretty tired. So you might wanna get someone to come over, maybe a gym partner or something like that. Add some tension on the stretch point and just help you. Don't take the weight off, but help you hold that flex just for you're feeling the flex, and they're just helping you there, like with maybe 1 or 2 fingers. It's not doing that. That person in that final set is gonna extremely feel the flex and the stretch, which just increases the tension. So give that a try. So our next exercise is gonna be on a leg press, but we're gonna do what is called a frog press, or what you would do with like a dumbbell squat or something like that. So it's a wide foot, wide stance on the platform. So when you're coming into it, bring this down a bit. So you're gonna be really wide on here. So, and a little bit higher up on the pad, not a normal feet down on the pad kind of thing. Because when you come down, all that pressure is on that hamstring. You're gonna feel a lot in the groin area and the ham. So this, same as any other leg press, we're gonna do 4 sets of 10 reps. It's a great exercise for building up your hamstrings, especially in your inner part of your hamstrings. But if you don't know how to do it properly, you just start smacking the weight on there, it's gonna cause some problems. So you're gonna be very, very sore. And you're not gonna like me too much. So be very cautious when you're adding plates onto this exercise until you're used to it. Just go for 10 hard reps, but not complete failure until you're used to the exercise. So finished with this one, and we got 1 more exercise to go, and then we're gonna finish off with some abductors. So basically some glutes. Next exercise we're gonna do is body weighted hamstring curls. So this is something that a lot of people don't do. I personally really like it for the feel and the tension that it creates on the hamstring. So I do it on basically a lat pull down. I get an extra flat bench to create somewhere to put my knees. And this is basically here just so I don't do a face plant. So I'm gonna angle this way out in front of me here. Try not to use this as you're putting your weight on this. All your weight is on your heels. So all the way out, and you're keeping everything straight from your knee to your shoulder, so you're not bending at the hip. Common mistakes when people do this, they either put all their weight on this bar, so they're literally like walking themselves down this way, and you see their arms are shaking, and then when they come back up, they do this. Which again is not using your hamstrings. Basically what you just did is you did like a kind of like a crunch hamstring curl, but you're not using a lot of hamstrings in that movement at all. So what you got to do is you got to really kind of be cautious. You got to keep everything nice and straight from your knees to your shoulders, so it keeps all the pressure on your hamstring. Yeah, no, that is a great exercise. You're going to go 3 sets to failure on this one, and you'll like it. It's tough. It's very tough. Some sets you might get 15, some sets you might get 8, and you'll fail. So just go on what your body will let you do. We're finishing off with abduction. So basically the out of the in and out machine. So what we're gonna do here is, what I tell people is, a lot of people go off of pressure on their knee, on their pads. So if you think about it, because really the target here is your glutes. So if you think about driving away with your heels, that's a longer lever, which means more tension on the muscle itself. Yes, you could put a yoga pad here and put more range. There's multiple things you can do, but at the end of the day, if you're pushing with your heel away, that's putting more tension on the muscle, instead of just, like if I bring my feet in, the flexion is not as much at all. So just think about when you're doing this, you're driving with your heels away. You're still gonna feel the tension from your knees to this pad because it's all one lever, like it's all one, but you're driving with your heel, and it puts a lot more pressure on the glute than just going with your knee. It's kind of common sense, really. The longer the lever, the longer the pressure. It's the same thing we tell people with side laterals. Instead of bending your arm with a dumbbell this way, you lengthen it out and raise it up, like you pivot away. Puts more pressure. So same thing with the glute. Think about it. You have an elbow on the arm, we tell you to straighten it. So if you try to straighten your leg a little bit and not go off the pressure of the knee and go with driving with the heel away, it's more pressure on the glute. So same analogy, same kind of structure of the limb, but it's just, think about how much you want to put more pressure on that muscle, and doing so, you're gonna drive with the heel. It's gonna add more pressure. So it makes it a lot more conducive that you're gonna build more muscle. Still the same range of motion, everything's the same. You're just thinking about driving through the heel instead of the knee. So think about that, try that the next time you're doing this. You're gonna finish off with 3 sets of failure for here. And that's gonna be the end of your hamstring and glute day. Hope you guys like these 2 leg days. Hit subscribe, hit like, drive the comments up. Tell me what you guys wanna see, and I'm gonna hit you up with the workouts to do so.